Hi everyone, my name is Andrea and I am the founder of EverjoyAi Technology, and we specialize in vibe coded tools, AI automations, video and image generation, audits, and much, much more. But today I want to take you through something that I've been putting together for some time now, and it's to do with vibe coding a particular dance app. Now, this is not just any dance app, it has a lot of different tools in it, which I'm going to take you through now. But before I go there, I just wanted to take you through a walk down memory lane. And what I mean by that is that I wanted to be a bit more vulnerable and share my backstory when it comes to dance. So basically, my mum was a music teacher back in South Africa, and we always grew up with music in my home. Back in the day, it was actually vinyl. So we would have, mum would go and get all her vinyls out, and it would be like Bee Gees and Diana Ross. She loved Diana Ross, ABBA, the Beatles, the Eagles, all of the different bands that you see back in the day, all the Motown bands. Bonnie M would play Bonnie M for Christmas. And it was just like really cool growing up in a musical household as well. And she taught me how to play piano, and I don't have any photos, but she taught me how to play her piano. And then I sort of grew up listening to music and dancing as well. And so my very first performance was when I was 5 years old, and she was a music teacher at a school. And I dressed up as a Southeast Asian lady and kind of like did a tribal traditional dance in front of everybody and sang a song with it. And it was really cute. And I was the only one up on stage. So I was really brave growing up being up on stage. I didn't have a fear for it when I was younger. Now I'm really nervous because of how the world is. But, you know, back in the day, I was fearless. And so my first performance was then, and then I grew up and I went to primary school a little bit later on. And I did speech and drama classes, sort of my early high school years. And part of the speech and drama class was to do a stage act at the end of the year. So we drew it from the hat, what we'd be performing, and it was Cats. So that was my first musical theatre type production. And I was Mr. Mistopheles, so I was dressed as a cat and I had the face paint on and did the whole stage play with all my other cat cast, and it was just really fun. And had to recite some poetry, and that's why I fell in love with poetry as well. I had to go and look at different poetry and read up on it, and I really enjoyed it. And Mum was very good at songwriting and poetry. She just could come up with lyrics that rhymed on the fly, and she was just a genius in that sense. And I'm still developing, I would say. I wouldn't say I'm like as good as she was, but yeah, I really enjoy that side of things as well. And then also, Dad wanted me to learn self-defense. So Dad and Mum were like chalk and cheese. Dad's very conservative behind the scenes, very shy, doesn't like public speaking. And Mum's on the other extreme, where she's like flamboyant, musical, everything else. And then, he wanted me to do martial arts. So I got my green belt, up to green belt only, not black belt. It was the boys were a bit too rough and very competitive. And moving on to high school, and there were a couple of things that I was involved in, but I just want to highlight two of them, or three of them. One was at school. I got selected to be the captain of the school play. So every year we'd have the inter-house school plays. There'd be 3 houses for our school, and I was Boekholt, which is the yellow house. And I put together a school play with dancing, singing, the whole stage detective series type feel, and backdrops. So painted all the backdrops and interviewed and tried to cast the actual crew, or cast the actors to act out this play. And we did pretty well. We came out second, and I know the reason why is because no guys stepped forward to act. So it was all female cast, but they did pretty well. They wore wigs and fake beards, and it was really funny. But that was my first time directing an actual play. The other massive stage event that we did do was, and it was a dance show. was at Christian Center, and it was a big Pentecostal church that all the churches used to go to, and when they had some sort of conference, and we had, I don't know if it was in Christian Center, whether it was their youth and our youth and all the different youths together. We had a combined youth conference, and we spent months rehearsing this dance. And we had like overalls, white overalls, with painted paint on it, and big barrel drums, and there were drummers drumming on the drum. And that dance took a lot of time because we were perfectionists. We wanted to get it perfect. We wanted to get it amazing, looking amazing. We had lots of guys doing back flips, and it was quite labor intensive, that dance, but it was very cool to have a long-term project compared to something that was just going to be in 2 months time, or this was like 6 months in the making kind of thing. So it was a big build-up, and they had like scaffolding inside of and it was really, really amped. It was just one of the biggest dance productions that I've ever was involved in or was dancing in. So that's where I sort of maybe grew my love for dance. And then moving to New Zealand, I was involved in church activities there, and we did choir. So I was in the choir, and my cousins were really into dance. My one cousin was a lead vocal or backup vocalist, and my other cousin was really into dance as well. So we'd spend hours in front of the TV looking at celebrities and dissecting their dance moves, including Michael Jackson and J-Lo and all those dancers, and dissecting their dance moves and putting together our own dances. And that was for church. So obviously we would use our dance moves and dance skills to glorify God. So our body's a holy temple, the Holy Spirit, so we would use it to honor God. But the actual steps and the moves and how we moved our body, how we embodied the music, was something that we grew up with. So we would, we would just be so into moving our bodies, creating those moves and putting together choreography, and my one cousin was in charge of that, so youth. And then moving then to Sydney as a young adult, I met my other cousin who actually studied it, so that was not the next step up, where she actually is a professional dancer, and she learned ballet, and she learned contemporary, and she would do these amazing dances, and she even did an amazing dance for my grandma's 80th, and everybody commented on how she shouldn't give it up because she's so talented. And but that's where I learned more confidence in dancing, and just learning from her and videoing her, and understanding dance, and how she would form a dance studio for kids. So she had a little dance studio that she would teach kids. So she was very into teaching, so she taught kids dance. So that's another aspect of it, which is teaching dance, understanding the professional side of dance, and taking it a step further. But I just love specific dancers and how they move. And obviously Michael Jackson's one of my favorites out of everybody. I mean, he's just a legend that can't be topped. He can't be matched. He's not from this world, I don't think. So but what I like about him is that he really pushed the boundaries in dance. He really did things that other people didn't think of. He wasn't afraid to be outside the box and be eccentric, be himself. Don't fit the mold, and it's just the mundane, oh, here we go again, it's the same old, same old kind of thing. Nothing excites us anymore, and that's because he brought that excitement by challenging the status quo and challenging how things have been done before. And I quite love that. I quite love innovation and bringing something new to the forefront, and understanding culture and understanding the different dynamics and how we can make dance more accessible. And then also for a women's conference, we did a dance that was quite different. It was about refreshing the body of Christ, and it was sort of to do with the prophecy in Ezekiel. And prophecy is sort of foretelling future events, and Ezekiel had a dream and a vision of the future, of something that will happen, and then this will happen and that will happen, and that's what caused that ripple chain effect. And what he saw was dry bones in the valley, and the dry bones coming alive, sort of like the zombies coming up in the Thriller for Michael Jackson, sort of similar, but obviously a biblical Christian perspective in a church setting. And we had to embody that. So a lot to do with dance is not about copying or kind of mimicking what somebody else is doing. It's nice to learn those moves, but it's embodying the story and storytelling through embodying a character, or embodying a scene, or bringing that theme to life. So this particular tool is to create that vibe. So understanding the look and feel of a dance, and to create that groove, and looking at all the different dance styles. So the app itself has different tools. that we can look at. So you can even type in, what sort of length you want and generate a routine out of that. So K-pop, hip-hop, jazz, funk, Afrobeat, Latin, and disco. You can add in more, but that's sort of basically what some of them are. And then I've got here the tools. So say for instance you have a song that you want to upload, and then you can use that and analyze the song and then create the...
I've got a very simple wire grid of a person here. I'm going to work on the wire grid so it looks like more like the human body, but for now it's just a stick man. But just for you to get the idea of the movements. The next is the mirror practice cam, and this here you can then choose a track, so you can upload all your tracks on here, and then you can hit play, and then this is the webcam, so you can put your phone or your webcam on your laptop in front of you, and then you can dance. And if you don't have, let's say you don't have a mirror, if you're not in the studio and you don't have a mirror, you can dance in front of your laptop, and it can track your progress as you do it and record as you do it and see how you are aligned with the music. So you can actually see your progress, and you can track and record your progress. This tool is a tempo trainer, and this is where you can loop a certain track, or you can isolate a certain part of a song. So this is my song Global Harmony, and
from the west to the east to the southern seas. One rhythm. Let's go. Hey. Listen close.
So I cleared the loop there. So yeah, it's very handy. The next one is something that's to do with moves, and then you can record on your camera different moves and then name it. So let's say you're walking on the street and then you saw a street dance or something and you quite liked it, so you put the phone down and started moving in front of the phone and name that move. You can record it and then name it and save it into your library, and then you can put together all those moves into one big dance. So that's the beauty of that one. And then video to video comparison. This is good for like the Michael movie of Dancer A and Dancer B of Michael, and then you have Jafar, and match the song and match the moves. And this you can overlay the two skeletons and see how that works. Obviously I'll use the 3D wireframe. This is just a basic example mock-up, but it's very handy to see how the moves are. You can see that's a different dance. Dancer B is a different dance. But obviously if you have two of the same dancers dancing and then you want to see if who's doing the dance most accurately, you can then do it like that. You can record each of your dancers and say, look, you guys have to all be in sync. Right now, dancer C is slightly off. She's not maybe extending her arm up or whatever it is. Then you can match that. Or if you're trying to learn a dance to see if you got it accurate, if you got it matched to the original, you can do it this way as well. So it's really handy, and I'm obviously make that a lot more detail, but that's what we have right now, just to see if it works. So those are all the tools. Really handy, very useful for dancing and learning different things. We have the library. Obviously you'll have all your routines here, different grooves that you've put together, saved here. But basically I wanted it to be as interactive as possible, thinking of how you actually would use it practically. It's a very practical tool, and it's user-friendly, so anybody can use it. It's not just for industry standard, but it's for people who are looking to create their own dances and track their movements and see how it all fits together. So I hope that's been useful and that you found this exciting and challenging, but also something that you actually use in your daily dancing and dance routines that you put together, that you cook up. And yeah, I've always enjoyed dance, and I hope that you will continue to dance the night away. So that's it from me from now, and we'll chat soon. Bye now.